And we're live. Hi, guys.
Yeah, how you doing, Char?
Steve. Got Jalil, JayEss.
Hello, my dear.
I haven't seen both of you for so long.
Been ages.
It's been a minute.
It's been a very long time. Jay, when did I last see you? Hi, Samantha.
Oh, it was my birthday last year.
And we I came down to Box Park, wasn't
Box Park, yeah.
It was last year?
Last year.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. And then Simone, it's been 3 years.
Just over 3 years. And that was at the baby shower.
Wow.
Our dear friend, our mutual friend.
Wows.
Just so happened to be in town, so yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad I got to see you then, because otherwise. Oh gosh. Coming back anytime soon, either of you?
Was planning to, but you know, COVID and everything.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky travel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so basically, today night we're talking about leaving the UK, setting up a life in another country, which is something that I've thought about so many times, and then I start going online, doing some research, and then I just get tired of it. So I haven't even been to many places that I would like to live. I think I've been to places probably like with the choir that I sing with somewhere for years. We travelled to loads of different countries, mainly in Europe though. So, and I wasn't trying to move to Europe. But yeah, so I've got a few questions I want to ask, because I think there's a few people that are interested, that have been thinking about moving, not really knowing where to start. And since you've done it, you've actually done a big move and you're living it now. So I thought it would be really good to hear from you. So what I wanted to start off with is actually just to introduce yourself a little bit. JayEss, like, who are you? Like, you know.
All right. Start off by introducing myself. Go by the name of JayEss. It's my stage name. I moved to the States because I got married. I teach, I rap, direct music videos and short films. So that's me in a nutshell.
Okay. Simone.
Wonderful. Well, I was in the UK for about 30 years, had a pretty good career working corporate. My husband had other plans and was able to move to Canada, live there for 6 years.
We're going to get into all of that. We're going to get into all of that.
Okay.
I'm going to get into that. But your mum, your wife, yeah.
Corporate, and just used to love and be in the music world, and you know, met a lot of people, met you, Char, and just just life transitioned.
Cool. All right, so let's get into questions. Where did you locate to, and why did you locate there? Jay.
All right, so I moved to North Carolina. I had no choice, right? My wife lives in North Carolina, so I had to move to North Carolina. I've been to North Carolina.
Did you meet her there?
I did, actually. I met her back in 2010. I was on tour in North Carolina, and that's where I met her in North Carolina. But visiting America, I always wanted to live in other states, such as like California and Atlanta. Those two was the main two.
I thought I wanted to live in Atlanta. I've never been there, mind you, but I always just felt like for some reason I belonged there. I don't know why.
Yeah. It's dope. It's dope.
I never made it there.
You haven't?
No, I've never been, but I kind of felt like that's somewhere I wanted to go.
Yeah, Atlanta is really nice. So is New Orleans. You actually like New Orleans. But yeah, so I moved to North Carolina because of that, and I've been here for good, 2-3 years.
Oh, cool. and Simone, where did you
Yes.
go and why?
Yes, so we left the UK, we moved to Canada, and Canada's huge. We were located in and around Toronto, and the reason why, that can be answered in so many reasons. But I think overall, we loved the country once I got exposed to it, and we kind of saw a life there. We saw what life could be like for us as a young family. And that was something we felt that we could develop and grow, and just live our dreams.
Yeah. So you'd been there before you moved? I mean, like, did you go there to go holidays or?
Right. I went, so it actually started with Nigel, my husband. He was given an opportunity to, at his job in the UK, and his job was in the UK, but all of the training was happening out in Toronto.
Right, okay.
So he went out there, I want to say about between 8 to 10 times over a year and a half doing all this training. So he would go and come, and he would spend from a week to 2 weeks at a time out there. And every time he comes back, he's like, "Oh my God, this is amazing."
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah.
And I'd never been.
Yeah.
All I knew at that point was, "Oh, isn't Canada meant to be cold?" Like,
yeah, that's my thoughts exactly. I'm just
Winter Olympics.
That's all I know about Canada. Oh, cool.
And then he kept going on and on about it every trip, and then he said to me, "I think you should come out and visit, and you can stay with me, whatever, and just see how you like it." So I did it, Char. I went for 10 days. On day 2, it took me 2 days, and I was convinced.
Wow.
Yeah, day 2. We didn't move straight away, and we can go into all of that a little later.
Yeah.
But within 2 days, I think my heart was kind of set that this is where I wanted to be.
Wow.
I had to figure out all the other stuff, because there's a lot of things that you have to think about.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Okay. What does the process look like? Like, as in, when you decide to move, all the things that you had to put together to actually go there, like, you have to move your whole household, as in, I don't know, just stuff.
Yeah.
I can't imagine trying to move everything I own to another country.
So, all right. So the process, first and foremost, it starts with like preparing yourself mentally and emotionally. I was preparing myself for 2 years before I moved, and so it was just knowing that I was going to be away from family and friends and being in a whole new country, starting again from the beginning. And so, because I had that preparation, what I did is I was slowly moving my stuff to the States. So when I was traveling and I was visiting the States, I would bring like a whole bunch of suitcases and leave it here, so that when it's finally time for me to arrive, I've only got like one suitcase that I'm taking. Right. So in doing that, I had to also make sure I informed the government, make sure that I had myself set up nicely over here. So with the green card, social security, having all of that in place so that I'm able to work, because the social security number is like our NI number. So you need it in order for you to work, right? So having all that in place. And so, yeah, so preparation started off in the mind, and then physically moving over and just getting all my stuff here eventually.
Yeah. And what about you, Simone? Because you already have your 2 children.
No, I just had Hannah, who was 1.5.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
1.5 when we left. So just like Jay, when you talk about the preparation, it actually took, from making that decision on day 2, it took 3 years.
Wow.
to the actual move. And we had tried several ways of trying to move. And unfortunately, they did not happen for us. So Canada being a Commonwealth country, there are, you know, lots of programs in place that people can transition and move there from other countries. So I tried a couple of avenues through government programs. And if anyone wants to know about them or reach out, feel free to talk to me. But it ended up, Char, that I went over there as a student. That was the route that I took. So I was an international, went over as an international. That was like the end result. And it happened very quickly. I applied for a student visa in November.
Okay.
So let me retract back. There was like a workshop that was happening in the UK that I went to, and all of the Canadian top 5 colleges were there. So when I turned up, I met with one of the colleges and they gave me admission to the college straight away on site.
Oh, okay.
So with that letter, I was then able to apply for my student visa. And then from there, we got the visas come through, and New Year's Eve is when we left.
Wow.
So from November to New Year's Eve, didn't take long.
So your husband was working, but you was a student. Is that
yeah, so we actually took the step of faith and we actually quit our jobs.
Wow.
Okay. So
wow. That's
a bold move.
Yeah.
It's a faith thing, 100%. And yeah, he then was able, he got a fantastic opportunity out there once we got out there.
Yeah.
Interviewing, and like within a month he like got the job, we got a home, we got
that's so good.
Came through big time.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah. So it was a student, and you know, my program was just only for a year, and it was a course that I really wanted to do because I was seeing a transition in my industry. So I did a project management postgrad.
What happens when you finish the course though?
So so there is a route that students typically take, and it's something that I had researched before kind of going through with this. So once my course finished, there was a postgraduate work visa.
Okay.
I could apply for, which I got.
Okay.
So
there are ways, I was thinking it just sounds like
I was able to get a job, and I had to, there's renewals and all sorts, but there's a process that can lead to citizenship. It's very clear, very direct.
Okay.
So you just have to kind of see it through.
Sorry, Simone, I must have missed this, but how long have you been in Canada?
I was there for 6 years in total.
Yes.
6 years.
Cool. Yes, so another thing I wanted to know, who did we leave behind?
Everybody.
Everybody. God.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, left behind obviously my family, immediate family, friends, my church, and those are the main people that I left behind.
How did they react when you said you're moving?
Well, they had already prepared for that mentally also, because they knew that was where I was going, and so my family were preparing for that. And when it happened, when it was like close to the day, then obviously emotions started, flaring up. But the good thing about, I guess, social media is social media makes it seem like, you're constantly seeing the person, right? You might not have seen someone for 10 years, but you're up to date with everything that they're doing. I've got certain friends on social media I haven't seen for 20 years, but I'm up to date with, what's going
it's
on.
Like with me seeing you last year, there's people that live right here in London I haven't seen for over a year. So it doesn't feel sometimes you're away, but it's almost like, you're away. Because I've always seen updates and stuff. I'm like, yeah, he's cool, you know.
Yeah, but that's the good thing about social media. You don't really miss them as much. You miss their presence, but you're able to see like their progress. And I think with church, I'm still connected with obviously my church in London, and so I'm on the live streams, I'm on the Bible studies, etc. So still connected, and I'm in the group. They ain't kick me out.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, Simone, what about you? Who did you leave behind?
Yeah, I left my family, man, and left my brother. There's only two of us. My niece, my nephews, cousins, uncles, aunts, the whole shebang. I'm from a big
Did
family.
you get anyone saying like, don't go, or, you know, are you sure?
Yeah. So, Charlene, some people I expected to be kind of happy, but sad, but happy.
Yeah.
You know that your life is
happy
moving on.
for you, but sad that you're going. Yeah.
Really, some people were really negative. Like, why
Oh,
would
wow.
you just pack up? You haven't even got you haven't got this, you ain't got that over there, and it was downhearting, I must say. And there were others that I might have expected a bit of a negative opinion, and they were really like excited and, can we come and visit? I'd love to come and see, what Canada's all about.
When they start thinking about themselves, that's like me. Someone says they're going to live, I don't know, in a hot country. I'm like, oh, is there going to be like an extra room? Because I'm thinking about myself. But
Absolutely. But one of the things that I said to, my friends and family is that, look, we come from a generation of people and like parents, grandparents, great-grandparents who moved. You know what I mean? Like they moved my family came from Jamaica, right? So it's not a foreign concept to us, right? So we're going to try something new for us for the reasons that we had. And, it's up to us to keep the connection, so you've got to be really intentional with the relationship that you want to, maintain overseas. But it was, Charlene, it was difficult leaving family and friends. And we, my husband and I, kind of made a commitment to each other that we will go back to the UK.
Yeah.
Might not be as often. But thankfully it's been quite often, so we're happy that we can still connect and see our family.
Oh, look, here's one of yours.
Gary, my doors are open to you anytime.
Does it get lonely? Probably more at the beginning. Does it get lonely? How did you go about making new friends?
Simone, you want to jump in? Or
okay. Initially, Charles, because we decided to make this bold move, right? There was so much to keep us busy. Because when I got to Canada, I didn't even know how to send a letter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the whole way of life, living that you take so easily for granted in the UK, didn't know anything. So I put myself to be in a position to be busy learning. And then I knew I only had a short window because I was starting my course, right?
Yeah.
And then when my course started, oh my goodness, it just got even busier. We were fortunate to find a wonderful church. Shout out to Apple Creek SDA in Markham. And they just embraced us. Now, the thing is, Charlene, it wasn't until I got to Canada that I realized that there is a huge British expat community. There is a bunch of Brits out there. In fact, my first job that I got after finishing my course was with KPMG in their international marketing team.
Okay. Yeah.
When I went for my interview, my manager was from Kent.
Oh, wow.
Like literally about a year prior, they had moved the office from London, their London office, from Wolf, over to Toronto. So I was going to work every morning. I'm hearing my accent with about 70% of staff.
So it doesn't feel too foreign.
Absolutely. But I do kind of pride myself in trying to be bubbly and having a positive attitude. So getting to know people and putting myself out there wasn't difficult to do.
Yeah, I feel like that may be where I would struggle, because I can be such an introvert. Like, even though I know lots of people, people telling me every time I try and say anything about me being an introvert, I do know a lot of people, but I'm never really the person to step out and say, oh, like, hi, and it's usually someone speaking to me. When someone speaks to me, I'm fine, but yeah, I probably struggle for a little while. What about you, Jay, when you first went over there? Again, your wife is there already, so you probably met all of her friends.
Yeah, so I already had friends in North Carolina through my wife, and also my own personal relationships. In North Carolina, I have more friends in Baltimore than anywhere else, and that's mainly because my promoter is from Baltimore, and so I was able to build a lot of there she is in the chat, Money at home and chat. So I was able to build a lot of friendships in Baltimore, and so the distance from North Carolina to Baltimore is a good 5 hours drive. And so it was tough in the beginning, because obviously in London, your friends, wherever they live, you can get on a bus, or you can get on a train to go visit them. Over here, there's no bus, there's no train, you need a car. And so when I arrived in North Carolina, I didn't have a license, didn't have a car. So I had to do my test, take my test again. And I literally had to go on the computer, do the test online, right? But their testing system is dodge. So I failed quite a few times before I actually got my license. But I think it was rigged. Personally, I think it was a bit rigged. There was some weird. No, Sean, there was some weird questions in there, right? And I'm not even gonna repeat them, because they'll make me angry, right? But anyway, I failed, and then I passed my 4th attempt, right? So that shows you how many times I failed. Then I got my car, and so I was able to like move around. But even with that, people live like an hour away, 2 hours away. So it's not even like 15 minutes down the road. Yeah, it's not like a Stratford and Hackney thing. Nah, it's literally like the distance is long. So I made a lot of my friends at work. So my colleagues have become my friends.
Yeah.
And I guess through just, I guess having like family gatherings and stuff. So it's more family that I see more than anything else, right? So that's basically it. And so at times it does get, because I'm so used to having people around. That's how I was raised, and that's how I've been all my life. And so to have like a quiet weekend, it's like, where is everybody?
You're like the king of gatherings.
Yeah, right. See,
like you go to your house at the weekend, there's just a bag of people there just chilling, and
that's how I was raised, So coming here was a culture shock, but I've adjusted and I've got used to it.
Oh, about that, I always ask about the driving license. So if you went over there with a UK license, you have to do another test.
With the UK license, you can only rent a car with it.
Okay.
Yeah, but to actually own a vehicle, like you need a US license, well, the state license.
So you have to do. Is it just an online test, or do you have to do a?
Like you go to the center and you do it's like a hazard perception.
Okay, yeah, I guess so, because you need to know all the rules would be completely different. So.
But it's weird though, because my driving to actual practical test was like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It was like, drive down there, all right, turn left, all right, reverse, all right, do a 3-point turn, all right, you're done. I was like, all right, cool.
Says, wow, 4 attempts, crikey.
No. I have to justify that. I have to justify it. No, listen.
But bear in mind, comments are a little bit delayed. So
okay.
She's probably hearing the explanation.
Okay, because some of the questions, it was rigged. It was rigged. And I failed with one, like I was off by 1 point. all the time. Yeah.
We've got a question from Rodney. Is there anything you would do differently if you could go back into the beginning of wanting to relocate? Anything you would do differently?
I probably would have saved a little bit more money.
You would have what? Oh, saved more.
Yeah, it's important to you know. I mean, we did okay, but I think when you're relocating, you're used to like the financial aspect of things to be in the way that you're accustomed to, and it's just not, right? So you've got to make sure you do your research and understand what the standard of living cost is, and you know, make sure that when you're relocating, you have, you know, some funds that you can rely on to kind of see you through, whether it be, you know, 3 months, 6 months, whatever you set yourself. Yeah, I guess so. It's going to be important. So JayEss, so when I moved to Toronto, the UK and Canada have some agreements, I think, under the whole Commonwealth thing. So I didn't have to take a test at all. All I had to do was just give up my UK license and just swap it.
Yes.
So I just swapped it and then just got it. Didn't have to take, there was nothing I had to take, and then just drive. And then when I moved out to Dallas, where I am now in the US, I just swapped it. So I didn't take another test. So
what would happen if you moved back? Would you be able to do the same?
So I did ask the question, like, where's my Canadian license? Where's my UK license? Like, what's going to happen to this? So they said to me, then you just swap it back when you get to the UK. Like, they'll keep it for you in the UK.
Oh, okay.
Like, okay.
Okay. Well, it's still on their records and stuff, so it shouldn't. Yeah, it shouldn't change.
Exactly. Okay. And then the thing that you have to also remember is that obviously states are governed. Each state governs themselves out here in the US, right? So what might be one rule in one state might be a different rule
completely
somewhere else.
Yeah, it's true. That is true. Have you ever come close to moving back? Have you had a point when you're like, you know what, not doing this anymore?
No, not for me. It's mainly been, obviously, I'm homesick now. I miss my family. I miss my friends. Like, I need to like spend at least like 2 weeks or something in London, get my fix, and then come back.
Okay.
But never really to move, because I enjoy it out here. The only thing I miss is friends and family, but I really enjoy it out here. The life that I live out here with my wife is really good. So
that's good. Simone?
Charlene, I'm the same. You know, never say never. That's one of my mantras. But I think we've gotten to the place, you know, in our life where we're good, you know, comfortable, and we have not gotten to the point yet where we've considered coming back. That's happened. And again, we've been fortunate to come back, you know, on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
And I need an M&S fix. Like that's my that's my thing. Like Marks and Spencer's. I didn't value it when I lived in the UK. When I go back, there's a few next. Marks and Spencer's, Zara, like you name it. I'm there. But it's the friends and family thing that still pings at me a little bit.
Leanne, sorry to pull that back up. Can you? After the compliment, you look amazing.
Oh,
yes, you do. I agree. Can you tell us more about your transition from Canada to the States?
Yeah. Okay. Sure. So I want to be clear that when we moved from the UK to Canada, that was a personal choice, personal move. And we did it with God's guidance and God's amazing grace. and we made it happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we moved, so 2.5 years ago, I moved from Canada to Texas, and that was because my husband got a promotion, and they wanted him to move out to the global offices, right, for his company.
How
So
how was that? How did that announcement go for you after falling in love with Canada?
Girl, it took a minute.
I can imagine.
Because, you know, I had made no plans to do another move. Like,
Yeah.
it was a move, and I was happy. Had my little, you know, British community, Jamaican community. I had my church peeps. I had my friends, you know.
Simone and her big crib.
Rodney, behave yourself. Okay.
Oh, questions. We'll come back to those.
So, the first move, like I said, was just us. The second move was it was a job opportunity.
Mm.
So when you're moving with a company, you know, things can happen a lot quicker, easier for you.
Yeah,
Support. It's almost like a little bubble that you're in, because they support in this whole transition.
Like they protect you, like they're ours kind of thing.
Yes.
They kind of
Anything I needed help with, like I had certain people I could call, and it was excellent. I didn't have that when I was moving to Canada.
Yeah.
So that was my experience.
Okay. We had another one. Looks like it's aimed at Simone. What have been the key differences between USA and Canada?
So I'm in the south. Okay. So the weather is one. Yeah, it can get to over 40 degrees Celsius down here. Okay, so
wow, that's a massive difference.
Yeah, big
difference. Cold in Canada all the time.
Say that again.
Is it cold in Canada all the time?
No, it's not. Canada has clear, defined seasons. Winter is winter, and it's a proper winter.
Yeah.
Okay. It can. I don't want this to scare anyone, all right? But it can get to like minus.
You're gonna say minus, yeah. Once I hear minus.
But can I just say, I must say, it minus 30 in Canada is not minus 30 in England. There's a different feel. It's not the same. Like it's not a wet, heavy cold. It's a light cleaner. The air is different.
Yeah.
And the sky is blue. I mean, like Jay, I'm sure you get like proper blue skies where you are. In Canada, it's the same. So when you open the windows in the morning and you see this bright blue sky, like you want to get going, like you want life to, like you want to get out there and get going. Yeah. With your coat on. Yeah. It's just so bright. It's very energizing. It's incredible to experience. It, you know, that's winter. Spring is spring. Summer is summer, and autumn is autumn. I think so. The coolest
place I've been is to St. Petersburg in Russia, and I was told it snows all year round. It's cold. So this is with the choir. So we were like prepared. You know, I'm just. I can't even imagine those temperatures. I don't know what that looks like, what it feels like. So we were there, but because we were so padded up, I was like, this isn't actually that bad. With cold, you can control it, but with heat, you just can't. Unless you've got AC, there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, if it's cold, you can wrap up. You can, you know. But and New York in winter is a different level of cold.
New York. I went to New York back in was it 2013, and I spent New Year's there. It was minus 11. Nah, that cold was serious.
And because I think New York might be a bit more as polluted as London, it's not a nice, like you won't get that nice cold like in Canada. Like, it's a dirty cold where your lips start tapping. Oh my gosh, yeah. New York will never see me in the winter.
I hear you.
New York winter is a matter. Exactly. Right.
Yeah. But one of the things I loved is that, the seasons were defined. So you can kind of organize yourself appropriately, and, you just ride through it like everyone else.
Just work it out.
Downtown Toronto has it's an underground city. So what I would do is when I was working downtown, I'd get the train. So from stepping onto the train, that would be the last time I'd be exposed to the outdoor. Because when I get off the train, I would walk through the underground city called the Path, right up into my building, and then, up to my office. So, and everything's down there: restaurants, shops, movie theaters, salons, barbers, everything that you could want.
I need to experience this. Fab had a question. Do you miss some British things, like such as a proper cup of tea? Jay, what do you miss? Like, things, or any foods, any kind of...
Because London is so diverse with the kind of foods that we have over there, and the food just tastes different in London. Like over here, a lot of things are sweet. Like your baked beans are sweet. They have brown sugar in it. It's just different.
Yeah, the sugar thing is a problem.
It's different. I do like the baked beans over here, but I'm just missing the food in London. And then also that community spirit that we have, I guess the connection we have in London. Like I always say that London's like one big college where everyone is kind of connected to each other. So like you can meet a group of people and they might know one of your mutual friends, so
that's always the case with me.
I like that. We can go to an event and you'll see some of your friends that you haven't seen in a while, and I just feel like there's no other place like London, the way it's, the way it is. And so I miss that about London, and the food. So those are the main things. And obviously family and friends, but those particular things, I miss those things.
What about you, Simone?
I'm a bit of a foodie myself. So one of the things that I did in my research to move to Canada is like, how can I order, or where can I go to get my British fix? So thankfully there was a shop in Toronto owned by Brits that had moved out there. A little pricey, but you kind of make the sacrifice for some good old proper food. And
I think there's a lot of shops here that like that, for people who just want food from their country. Like you have a couple of Jamaican shops where you can get the actual brands that they sell in Jamaica.
That's it.
I'm sure with like Polish shops, Thai.
Exactly. Same kind of thing. I also wanted to. I was inquisitive to know more about what Canadians eat as well and how they prepare food. So
what is the difference? What do they do? I have no idea. I know nothing about Canada.
Well, there's poutine, which is what a lot of people call traditional Canadian food, which is, I won't go Google it. But poutine. But then because they're close to the States as well, so the food types are a little bit similar, but there are key little things. There's also a heavy French influence as well in Canada, so you do kind of get a bit of a Canadian French kind of Americanish kind of mix, which is interesting. It's interesting. But, again, like if I know that I've got friends coming from the UK or family or people I know, I'd say, oh, can you please
bring something over here?
Just one packet of custard creams, like, please.
Custard cream. Oh Lord, I miss those.
Could you advise anybody that would like to move to Canada in respect to the visa process? My sister's finding it very hard, especially finding work. Could you advise any good websites?
Okay. I always point people to the government-based immigration website, which is CIC. So it's www.cic.gov.ca, I think it is. And it will list all the programs there, from migrant workers to student to...
I'm gonna put that on underneath the video when it's up.
Yeah. All right.
So again,
let me get you the link exactly, then I'll
and
then,
so that it's I'll post it just in case anyone watches it back and they look for information.
But you know, again, if you're looking at Canada or just any other country, maybe that's in the Commonwealth, you know, there are programs, there are agreements in place between the UK and these countries. So you really got to kind of dig and just, you know, find these programs and then put the application in.
Chloe, who asked the question, I don't know if you were listening earlier, Simone did say that she had a student visa and kind of progressed from there. So maybe after, if you didn't catch that bit, you can rewind and watch that bit to give you a little idea. What is the best thing and what's the worst thing about leaving the UK?
Best thing about leaving the UK is you can start over again, right?
Yeah, feels like a new
life, new experiences. Just start fresh, and a lot of us need that, you know. And that's the opportunity. That's your chance to actually start again. What was the second part of the question?
What's the best thing and the worst thing?
The worst thing, I guess. I mean, I don't mean to sound all dramatic, but you really don't know when you're going to see your loved ones again. Like, you can see them online, but that's not the same. Like, you really don't know. Like, anything can happen. And so saying goodbye, you have to have it in the back of your mind that, okay, this could be the last time I'm seeing any of these people. And I guess the thing that really kind of gets me sometimes is, let's say if a family member is going through something, I can't be there physically to help them. Or if a loved one is sick, I'm not there to look after them. You know, I can only send them a message or phone them. It's just not the same. So that's the only downside to being so far away. You can't drive to someone's house and just be there for them. So that'll be it.
That's what stops me as well. I was thinking about my little niece and nephews and my younger sisters, because I just feel like they're younger than me, so I always feel like I need to kind of be here. So what about you, Simone?
The worst thing, going back to the UK for funerals. I was in the UK last year I did a round trip, guys, in like 2.5 days, because I had to go to my nan's funeral, right? And the fact that I could not say goodbye to her broke me. It broke me, okay? And she was 100.
Wow.
100 years old.
Wow.
Amazing woman. But the fact that I was able to go and, you know, be a part of the service and be with the family, that kind of helped with the grieving process. And then, Shaz, you may remember that my father passed away a couple of years ago, right? So they had actually, my mum and my dad actually moved back to Jamaica and lived there for about 13 years. And then he fell ill with cancer, so he was able to go back and get the treatment and everything. But yeah, it was a hard time. That was a hard time. That's what I don't enjoy. What was the best thing? So I think, you know, like I said, Charles, I lived in the UK for 30 odd years, and I think knowing that I was able to make a decision that allowed me not to just have, or not to just deal with what I see around me and have what I see around me. I can make a decision to actually kind of change my future and my path, to live a life where, yes, I'm taking a risk.
Yeah.
And we all have to take a risk at some time.
Yeah.
Right? But am I really fulfilling my purpose? Okay.
Right.
So when we did the evaluation and when we assessed, you know, all the different things that make us up as individuals, as a couple, because I said we moved in with my husband and my daughter. You know, you can make a decision that can steer you in the path that you feel is your purpose and God's, you know. And as I said before, it's a risk, but you know, this is where faith comes in big time, big time. And if you feel like you're spirit led, spirit directed, you know, I strongly believe, you know, it can work out for you.
Yeah, there was yeah, I think that for me, I know that it would definitely be that whole new start. It's just like everything's fresh, everything's new. There was a question that I skipped back to. Chrisabella said, don't they have a point system in place? I'm not sure
about Canada. That is true for certain programs, not all programs.
What is a point system? What a point?
I'll explain. So if you're, say, applying to go over to Canada under their skilled migrant worker program, then you have to satisfy some requirements. Okay. So what education do you have? What type of work experience do you have? What industry are you in? Do you speak French? Like, for everything you answer, you'll score a point or points.
Okay.
So you have to satisfy a minimum number of points to be able to apply for that skilled worker program.
Okay.
But that point system is not for, like I said, all the other programs. So you just have to look through and just see what's right for you.
Yeah. Okay.
So I have three friends. Yeah, 3 Brit friends that went through that skilled worker migrant program and got their permanent residency within just over a year.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
They had enough points.
Okay. Well, I think I've only got like one question left.
Oh no, that's a short.
I think you know what it was, because some of the questions, I had a couple more questions, but we kind of answered them with other questions. I mean, well, the last question that I have, and there might be other people watching who might have some questions, or there might be stuff that you want to share. Do you have any tips for anyone that's thinking about moving abroad? Like, what should they definitely consider before making the leap?
Jay, I'll let you go first.
All right. So any tips for anyone who wants to move abroad? Obviously, everyone's situation varies, right? So I guess having enough information about the area you want to live in.
Okay.
Actually go there for like a month or 2 and just see how it would be like to live there. Because you might go there for a holiday for like a week, and then you might be bamboozled with the glitz and glamour, but everyday life is different. And so it's good to experience that on a 2-month basis, like be out there and see what real life is. Go when, I guess, family members are going to work and you have to be at home alone. You know, just to have that feel. And when you do finally say, okay, cool, this is a place where I'd like to live, then just make sure like all of your stuff's in order back home. Prepare yourself mentally and emotionally. And when you get over here, just expect the worst to happen, but obviously prepare for a blessing to arrive early. So for example, when I came to America, I knew that there was a possibility I could be out of work for 6 months. right? And so I prepared myself mentally and emotionally for that. However, when I got here, I was applying for jobs like crazy, and so it just took me 2 weeks, and then got blessed with a job.
Wow.
And a job that I actually prayed for. So that was something amazing.
Wow.
So just having that in mind, preparing that I could be out of work for 6 months, but at the same time doing what I can to make sure I do get work. And so that's what I'll say to anyone who is, trying to move to another country, have all of those things in place.
Yeah. Think of anything, Simone? Any kind of tips?
Yeah.
Maybe someone like me who's just always just trailing the internet and not really doing much more than that.
I think if you have a goal or a dream in your kind of mind or your heart, your spirit to move, if I was whoever's out there listening, I think you owe it to yourself to explore it, because life is not about living with regrets. Okay, I think there's enough happening in the world, craziness, and to put regret on top of that, I think is for you. So if it's something that's in the back of your mind, explore it, pray about it. Really do some research. Contact people like me. I'm going to say contact people like JayEss. Hit us up, blow us up, talk through it with us if you feel that you need a support. And you're not going to be the first person, you're not going to be the last person, right? So utilize your network to get as much information, as you can. Everything is not going to be perfect, right? Jay said he was looking for work and just hitting out his resume 2 weeks, but if you make a decision, stand in that decision, and really just trust God. I had several doors shut in my face, and all it took was, we changed the way we prayed, and we said, God, ultimately, let this be for your glory. Like, let our story be so incredible that people will only know that it can only be you. And that's exactly like what happened, right? And I have started a little bit of a blog, so people can kind of read up on some of my
tips. Nice. You have to give me the link to that one as well.
Yes, Simone James Henry. But getting yourself a little bit of a network, I think, is going to be important. So that would be one of my tips. I don't think you should start the journey of moving abroad alone. I think there are support networks in place. That can kind of help and enhance what you're doing. And the other thing I wanted to say was, I think, like, we're old enough now, like, we've worked hard. Okay, we've put a lot of years in working, and you should be able, in your life, whether you choose to stay in the UK or not, you should be able to say, what I've worked hard for, I can actually see. Right. And I'm comfortable.
Not a lot of people are, but
we put a lot of hours in, we work really hard, and sometimes you're just not getting that value, or you're not getting value add. So that value can be had elsewhere. It can be had. So what type of life do you want for yourself? What kind of how do you want to enjoy your life?
Take some chances. I need to do that.
Take some chances and research. And one of the things also I wanted to do, so when I did go on that trip, Char, I again, project management into action, like, okay, if we were to move here, not that I want to, because I love the UK, if we are going to move to Canada, what is it going to look like to live here? Right? So, bam, like that second day, that's when we set up time with a realtor or an estate agent. And when I kind of did a little bit of a money conversion, not that you always want to compare, because that can get you into trouble as well, but that's another story.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at what the cost of something might be to live in the UK compared to elsewhere, you know, you could be very, very surprised.
As in, you get a lot less here for your money. That's how I expect it to be.
Again, depending on where you move to, right? So if I wanted to live downtown Dallas or downtown Toronto, then it might be a little bit pricey. But if you're thinking about maybe suburb life, you know, that's where the surprises could come.
Okay. Well, I've actually got 2 questions that will be good to with. We have Sabrina, who I know lives in Washington. What's been the hardest cultural adjustments you've had to make in your country, in your countries?
I guess growing up around Nigerians and Ghanaians, that's like they're non-existent over here. But there is a community actually of Ghanaians. You just find them, and a church my wife and I visit. It's a heavy Ghanaian and Nigerian community-based church, so that's good. Culturally, obviously, us Londoners, you know, we do things differently. We drive on the other side of the road, spell words differently to the Americans, the way we write our dates.
Did you find their dress different to how you dress? I feel like you dress quite American anyway.
Ish. Yeah, I do dress different. I do stand out. Plus, I'm in the South, so yeah, they're gonna see it as a bit different. If I was in New York, I'll blend in a bit more.
Yeah.
But I'm in the South, so I dress a bit different. But that's always been the case for me visiting America, anyway. But in terms of like how you communicate with others and stuff like that, language and just the way you say certain words, and especially going to a restaurant, you know, when you go to a restaurant, you ask for a drink and you ask for water. Oh, Lord, have mercy. It's like you're speaking a foreign language, you know.
Oh, you need water.
Yeah. Facts, Simone. So you basically have to say it the way they say it. So, like, can I have some water, please? Like, huh? Like, can I have some water? Oh, you mean water? I was like, oh, yeah. Water, you know. But it's all good. It's all good. That's basically it, really.
Yeah. What's been the hardest thing for you?
Yeah.
What would you say?
Well, culturally, so again, a little different. In Canada, like the monarchy is respected, right? And again, Commonwealth country and all. So being British, the moment you open your mouth, oh, are you from the UK? You're like,
yeah.
And it strikes up conversation. It honestly has opened doors. I'm not losing this accent because it's opened too many doors, right? But you know, I think there's been a lot of interest, especially again, you know, they're used to seeing a certain colour of British, and I'm not that colour, so there's conversation. It's nice. I'm happy to educate people, you know, on Windrush and etc. But I think because I'm quite confident in who I am, like I'm happy to translate something, or like JayEss says, you know, use different words so that people can understand me. I didn't think about it until I got there. And I was actually in college one day studying with a friend. And she said to me, what's the time? Right? I said 7:30. She was like, half what? I'm like, 7:30. So she looked at the time. She's like, oh, you mean 7:30? I was like, yeah. And she was like, she's never heard it said like that before. So I was like, okay, I've got to take that into consideration. So I kind of have a little glossary of words in the back of my mind that I will kind of go to.
Yeah.
You know, but on the cultural thing, again, lots of Brits in Canada, tons, so many. It's unbelievable. It blew my mind. And then, you know, the West Indian community there's a huge amount down there. So I didn't feel too
out of place,
away from home.
Yeah.
Moving down to Dallas, Texas, other than my little 2 Facebook Brits in Texas groups, that's it. Very rarely, you know, and luckily for me, JayEss, I can pick up Heinz baked beans at my local grocery store, so that's
gosh.
But yeah, it's a little different down here, but still, you know, just kind of throw myself into it and just learn as much as I can. I don't know if we'll be here, you know, long term. Moving back to Canada is an option for us. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see.
Okay. Did you have a backup plan? You made all the plans to go, but did you say, if this doesn't work, this is what I'm going to do?
Did you, JayEss?
I didn't have a backup plan.
Plan A or another way to get plan A.
Plan A, or that's it. No, it's basically because obviously my wife lives here, so I'm literally moving here. So it was gonna work out anyway. If it was a place where we were both moving to, then there would need to be like a plan B. But the plan A was to move here and to build together. And so we're in the phase of, I guess, plan B or plan A, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. What about you, Simone?
Yeah, so our backup plan was, if it doesn't work out, we can always go back to the UK, right? So England ain't going nowhere. You know, citizens, every right, born and bred. So you can always go back home. Going home is always an option.
Yeah.
Luckily for us as well, like I had said earlier, my parents had moved to Jamaica. They retired and lived out there, and my husband's family were in Dominica. So, you know, if we wanted
he's a Dominican.
Yes, that's right. So we kind of said, you know, if we were going to retreat back to the UK, we'd probably do a few months down in the Caribbean while we're that side of the world anyway.
Yeah.
And then head back up to the UK. That was the plan. But
nice.
Do it. So
yeah, haven't really needed it.
That's it. And you know, Char, I think for some people, you know, they might see it as, I don't want to go back to the UK because I don't want to have my tail between my legs, or, you know, made all these plans and it didn't work out. And I don't think life is about that. I think life is about just trying different things. And, you know, if one thing doesn't work out, okay, try again.
Exactly. Don't watch their face. Yeah,
home is always home.
Cleo's asked, how do you compare the cost of living in the UK, especially apartments in Canada or America, compared to the
UK? Like Simone said, it depends on where you live. Like I live in the South, so there's certain areas that you can move to, and the rent is ridiculous. It's in the thousands, and there's certain areas you can live and the rent is like $650. You know. And you get a lot of space, especially, when it comes to space, like you get a lot of space, living space. In terms of like, I find that utilities is a lot cheaper here than it is in the UK. So living expenses is not too bad. You just have to budget well with anything, because you'll find that if you're one of those spenders and you don't budget, you don't look at, you know, what your outgoings are, then at the end of the month you won't have anything, you know. And then it feels like oh, America is taking all my money. No, it just means that you need to be a lot more, prudent with your spending.
Yeah. Okay.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And again, I was kind of doing the comparison thing when I moved to Canada.
Yeah.
Because the UK was all I knew. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Even a holiday, everything you're like comparing. How much is that in pounds? Yeah. Yeah.
But you have to be very careful with that because when you move, like when I moved, for instance, there was no. You guys, what do you call it? TV license. You guys have to pay TV license in the UK. Right. There is no TV license in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? But my car insurance was higher than it was in the UK.
Right.
My grocery bills were down in Canada, but my heating bill was a little bit more. So you kind of have to look at it holistically, like look at everything.
Yeah.
And then you compare. And there are many websites out there where you can kind of put in numbers and for whatever country you want to go to, and they can kind of spit out that number for you, kind of give you information as to.
Oh, that sounds good, actually.
Like,
yeah,
absolutely. So we found it a lot more conducive in Canada overall than in the UK. Dollars and another thing I do want to say as well, sorry, Charles, is, and I completely missed this, pace of life. So you have quality of life, and you have pace. Right? Yeah. So pace in Canada for me, and I'm gonna compare it to London because there's no dollar amount attached, or pound amount attached to that. It was a lot better and healthier for me. I was in a rat race. Yeah. And left, the second recession had just hit London. So, and we hadn't even really recovered from the first recession in 2008. So it was, I was working long days, and the amount of work I was churning out, it was just ridiculous. It was just ridiculous. I used to suffer from eczema as well. And when I was stressed, it would just flare out with, like it was sudden. So I knew I was under pressure. Yeah. When we moved to Canada, I was studying and it was really busy. Then I was working, but the pace of life was slower. I was able to catch up with myself. I was able to start work at one time and leave at 4:30, and then I'm home. And then no emails for the night. It was just a different pace, and I actually got to enjoy, my evenings and my life. So that's also something to look at. Yeah, I could imagine that. I feel like I've been to these places. I haven't, but I feel like I know. I'm sure I invited you, didn't I? I invited you. And I will definitely come on. I've got a couple trips planned, but I plan coronavirus last, so we'll see what happens. The last question is aimed at Jay. How are you experienced being a Black man in these Black Lives Matter times? Have you felt the effects? Have you,
No. No. Life has just been normal. It's been going on normal as it's always been. I don't experience racism here. I don't experience like racial profiling by police. I don't experience like what other African Americans in this country might experience, and that will be like very real to them. Yeah. But I don't experience it. Not saying that it doesn't go on, but it hasn't affected me. However, I still use my voice to educate my students on what racial profiling is and how to make sure that you're not allowing basically your the way society looks at you to determine your future, that you need to work hard and do what you have to do to make it in this country or in this world. And there are no excuses. don't have any excuses. You can't say, well, because, you know, I didn't have, you know, a mother and father at home, or because I'm black, because, you know, society's against me and they don't want to see a black man or black woman rise. There's no excuses. It's literally you put the work in and you do what you need to do to succeed. Because once you start having those excuses, there's barriers now. There's reasons why you couldn't achieve your goals because this person wouldn't allow me. It's you and God. You just do what you need to do. And that's a mentality I had coming into this country. Like I said, there's nothing that's going to hold me back. I'm going to do what I need to do to achieve my goals. And we've achieved our goals together, my wife.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that, you know, it hasn't really affected you. I think it's probably different in different parts, isn't it? In different states, it's worse than the other. And I hope it stays that way. I hope it stays that way.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I think we might be near the end.
Oh, I was just going to say, you know, that was one of my concerns when we were moving, if I'm going to be honest with you, from Canada to Texas, the safety of my husband.
Yeah.
You know, there was a case that my 9-year-old saw on TV, okay, and she said, "Daddy, I don't want you to go outside."
Oh my gosh. Oh, it breaks my heart.
So, you know, we had to have a sit down and a proper chat. We had to have the talk with her. And, you know, thankfully where we live, we don't see any of that craziness. In my city. But, you know, it was a concern. But thankfully, things have been fine.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good to know. Because I really hate every time I travel that I do actually look for any blogs and stuff about Black people going there, how they're treated.
I do.
You know. Yeah. I had to tell my work people this because you know there's some things that they just have they don't think about it because they don't need to.
Yeah.
And I kind of, because we have a book club and I never go to them. And but I did this one because I saw the circulation go around and they said they're now reading Why I'm No Longer Speaking to Black People About Race. And I saw that, I said, oh, I'll be there, you know, knowing that I'd be the only Black face in there, but I just wanted to know how are you going to discuss this, you know. And it did feel a little bit like I'm now the representative for all Black people, that, you know, answering questions. It wasn't really answering. They were really good about it, and I like the questions they asked. They were genuine questions. They wouldn't have experienced certain things, so they wouldn't know. So you can't always expect, you know, them to know. And I did say that to them about, you know, traveling. When I'm traveling, I don't just look for, oh, does it have Wi-Fi? Does it have a pool?
Yeah.
You know, do they like Black people? Will I be attacked? You know, all of that extra tick boxes that we need.
We have to.
You know, down to me going for an interview there. I told them that when I came for an interview, I was about to get my hair braided and I had think twice. And I thought maybe I should just have a really plain hairstyle that doesn't cause any, you know, confusion or look too Black or urban or cultural. And I did think that. I mean, I'm sad that I thought that. I won't ever do that again. They will get the whole me. But that's at that point I did. Why is Chantal's travel experience so limited? I know. I've got a couple trips planned.
Post-COVID.
I've been to many countries, but they've just been a lot of Europe. Caribbean, I've only been to Jamaica and Antigua. I'm half Dominica, never been to Dominica yet. Because when I do plan to go, they have a storm and I can't deal. I just can't.
So I've been to
Char, I'm inviting you next year.
I'm coming. I need to come. Oh.
Char, next year I'm inviting
you. I'm yeah, we're gonna speak on that one.
Yeah.
And I do need to get out. I do need to get out.
Have you been to
No.
I was there in
Bahamas.
No.
Love it. Loved it.
I haven't. I've been to Jamaica a couple of times, but I haven't been anywhere else. But Jamaica's like going like home, isn't it, for the family? But I've never gone like to see other places really.
JayEss, I would move to Barbados. You don't convince me.
Okay, I've never been to Barbados. That's the next one on the list. Barbados and Jamaica.
Yeah.
Lots of British accents down there, but
yeah.
I see myself moving to Africa. I always said after saying I'd go to Atlanta. I had a thing about Atlanta. Then I thought, I could probably see myself in like the Gambia. Maybe even Ghana. I don't know. I just feel like I need to be called home, innit? The real home, innit? Like, the real home.
The year of the return, isn't it? There's this whole thing about the year of the return.
Yeah, wasn't that last?
Yeah, last year, Ghana.
And this year is like the next step, the next phase. So
yeah, that's.
Wow.
I could see me doing that.
Have you been on holiday, Char, to Africa?
I think in general.
No.
Africa, no. The closest I've been, oh my God, I'm getting killed out here because someone told us the earth is not flat. I know. I've been on the plane, guys.
I would think you travel more because of, what you do.
Yeah, but that's the thing I have, but it's the places I go. Like I've been to Spain, France, Greece, Russia, like all these places because that's where we're cool. That's where they want gospel music. Americans don't want to hear British gospel. It's like, why are we calling you to do our thing? So I mean, Americans are not interested in us. So I've never been called. I've been to New York actually. I've been to New York twice. And I'm going to thank you, Samina. I'm coming to
everyone's invited you.
Samina lives in Dubai, and I'm planning to go there this year if I can at the end of the year.
Yes.
That would be great. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying to get out. I've so many places I need to go, but yeah, I'd love to move away. I really would. I don't really have any other than like, my little sisters and my nephew. I don't have anything like holding me there at all. So I have no reason not to do it.
Yeah, not to try at least.
Yeah, I know.
I wanted to also share with you, Char, that like career-wise, for me, one of the things that I really valued that I hadn't seen a lot of in the UK was, African American leaders within corporate, right? Or Black British leaders in corporate in the UK. So often I would walk into a meeting in the UK and I'm the only one. But when I moved to Canada, there was a good representation. I felt, I think there's still work to be done, but it's like you can see yourself.
Yeah.
Like a future self, and there's with no glass ceilings. And that was a big deal. I consulted for a while out here with AT&T, which is like BT in the UK, but and the Black Network Employee Group was just like booming, and VP levels and above, there was just lots and lots and lots. So it's just really inspiring, to see yourself at a high level. For me, it just like sparked something extra in me. This whole wanting to really achieve, you can see it.
Have you done any music since moving? Have you done any singing since moving?
Me?
Yeah.
Kind of left that behind in the UK.
You can't. You've been given this gift. You can't just ignore it.
Darlene, why do you have to go unturn that stone?
I feel like you should still be singing somehow. Find a choir somewhere. I don't know.
I think I joined a little choir in Canada, I think, and to be honest, when I was pregnant with Hannah, I really struggled. The way she was positioned in me, it was just damaging. So I just I lost a lot of it. But yeah.
Oh,
Happy
okay.
Happy to support you.
Yeah. I sing at church,
music,
and I'm not even with LCGC anymore, but I sing with them maybe like once a year now. Like they're doing a big show, they'll just invite me to come sing. So I'll just go as an honorary member type of thing. I know JayEss has got lots of music out there as well. I'm gonna make sure I've got a link so people can hear your stuff as well. Do you do any performances out there, Jay?
No, I haven't been focused on music out here. Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe that will come back in at some point.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, good.
I actually went to see Queendom Choir were here last year, so that was nice.
Oh, were they? Oh, actually, I think I saw them advertising about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. It's amazing. It was great to see everyone. Great to see Karen and Paul and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was nice. And the venue was packed. I must say, the venue was packed.
Was it?
It was packed.
Yeah. That opportunity they got was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And the album that they put out was really nice as well. Yeah. I do love them. Cleo has asked if it's possible to have your contact details, Simone. What I would say is probably your Instagram.
Go to my Insta.
Yeah, so Simone James Henry, isn't it, on Instagram? And you can message her there and then, go from there, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's on the flyer as well. I'll make sure it's on the YouTube thing at the bottom. It should be there, actually. So, yeah, I think we've come to an end. We've done a good hour and a half. That's good.
Wow.
I've learned a lot to think about. I'm gonna start planning my trip to see you guys, Jay. And you. I'm traveling everywhere now. As soon as Corona lets me out, mate, I'm off. I will actually be doing a part 2 to this because I have a couple of friends who have moved away but came back. So I want to hear about their experiences and like why they came back and all the rest of it. So we'll be doing that probably maybe like 2 weeks or so.
Okay.
I try and alternate between some kind of learning, self-development, and then not crash, but a little bit of, when we talk about relationships and stuff, people love that kind of stuff. But last week we spoke about, I had some of my friends on here speaking about being single, why I was single, some horror dates that we had. It was really interesting. We did get a bit of heat actually from some of the guys, came for me and a couple of other ladies. They didn't quite like some of the things that we said. So I'll be giving them an opportunity to come on the show to back their talk. So yeah, we'll be doing that as well. So that's going to be interesting. Hopefully I'll do that next week. But yeah, those who are listening, thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Sabrina. We'll be back next week. This is episode 18. So we'll be back next week. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I forget to say that every time. Just do subscribe so that you'll get notifications of when we're coming on again. And send to a friend. This will be uploaded onto YouTube, and anyone who's on my MySpace, I was going to say, show my age. Anyone that is on my Facebook, you can also watch it back there. So yeah, it's worth watching that. MySpace, I know. I can still log into mine. It's just nonsense now, though. Yeah, there's nothing on there. It's a completely different. It's just a waste of space.
I was gonna say say hi to Tom for me.
I know, right? I'm still there. And you had the whole time. You had the same profile picture. You never changed your profile picture.
It served its purpose.
It did. Yeah, I met a lot of people through do my space actually. It's good. All right, so we're going to sign off now. Thank you again, everybody. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Simone. You shared so many gems. Oh, comment coming in. Dust off your passport. There's more than enough places in the European Union. I know. We're going to do this. And I'm going to document everything as well. All right, then, guys.
Like a little journey on Insta. Show us all your
absolutely,
all your stops. Yeah, that'll be wonderful.
Absolutely. Everyone will know about it. Everyone, because I'll be so excited. All right, so we're going to sign out now. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. You two stay there. I'm just going to sign out, and I do that like this.